Hi guys, welcome back to the Syntax UK YouTube channel. My name's Matt and today I'm going to be taking you through how to use your RME interface with Skype and Zoom. Now with more and more of us working from home, apps like Skype and Zoom have become a really popular choice for work meetings as well as just keeping in contact with your friends and family. But now more than ever, they are a really important collaboration tool for musicians, songwriters, producers, content creators, and even a really effective way of music teachers being able to teach their students from home. With that in mind, we've created this short series of tutorials which is going to help you get the best audio quality out of these apps possible and include some extra little bits that can really help you use them as a way of collaborating during this tough time. Now the steps that you'll need to take will differ slightly depending on what interface you're using. For instance, the smaller interfaces like the Babyface Pro I've got here, as well as the Babyface Pro FS, the UC, the UCX, all have a different set of steps to the bigger interfaces like the 802, the UFX2 and the UFX Plus, and we'll be detailing the steps for those larger interfaces later on in this video. So let's get started. For this, I'm using a Mac. If you're using a Windows machine, you can check out the link in the description below for a quick rundown of what you need to do if you're using a Windows machine. But for now, I'm just going to go to System Preferences. I'm going to go to Sound here, and we're just going to check that the RME interface is selected as the main device for input and output. And you can see on output here, it's Babyface Pro, and if I go across, Babyface Pro is selected for input as well, so that's all fine. Next thing is we would usually plug our microphone in. I'm using this microphone currently, so I can't show you that, but I will open Total Mix and just show you how you would do this. Now, if you click the spanner button here, this opens the settings for your microphone channel. If you're using a condenser microphone, you'll want to choose the 48 volt phantom power, and then the gain pot underneath is there for you to turn up to get level on your microphone. Now, I'm doing the headphone submix currently, so that's everything that you're going to be hearing in your headphones. So by clicking that here, you can now turn up AN1, which is the microphone level, and you can see there down here now I'm now getting level in my headphones. Now this won't affect any of the sound that's coming out from Zoom. This is only what you're hearing in your headphones currently. Now Skype and Zoom only see analog inputs and outputs 1 and 2 from your interface. So if you've got one of the smaller interfaces like the Babyface Pro, Babyface Pro FS, UC and UCX, you're pretty much good to go at this point. All you need to do is make sure that you raise the software playback channel AM1 and 2 to make sure that you're getting sound out of Zoom and Skype. Now, as we mentioned earlier, using the Babyface Pro and the smaller interfaces would be a really great way of a music teacher being able to teach their student from home, because it gives you the capacity to use 2 microphones at the same time. One you could use for your voice, as I'm doing now, and you can have a second dedicated mic for your instrument or an amplifier. So, for Babyface Pro, UC and UCX users, we can now go to Zoom app here. We're just going to go to Preferences, and this is where we're going to check we're getting level in. Now, you can see here I'm getting level on my microphone. Also, don't forget to double check that the device that's being used is your RME interface. There's also down the bottom here and automatically adjust microphone volume. Now, you don't really want to have this selected because that will play with the gain control in Total Mix and can mess with your level quite significantly. Now, we can test the speaker by just clicking the test speaker button. And then if I move the settings out the way, we can see here now we're getting the test speaker noise coming through on AM1 and 2. On Skype as well, we can just check the audio and video settings here. That's me on the camera. And we can just test the audio coming through on Total Mix. There we go, we can see sound coming through there. Again, this has the same thing in Skype as they do in Zoom about adjusting the microphone settings. You'll probably want to get rid of this and just set your level in Total Mix, just so you get a nice consistent level. And that's it. At this point, if you have one of the smaller interfaces, you are good to go. Now, we mentioned earlier that if you have one of the larger interfaces like an 802, UFX2 or UFX Plus, there'll be some additional settings and steps that you have to take to get your interface working. We're just going to go through those now. So we're going to start by selecting a headphone channel. In this case, I'm going to use PH1112. The first thing we're going to do is turn on our microphone. Select the 48 volt phantom power and turn up the gain. Now on an 802 the microphone gains are analog, so they're on the front of the unit and you'll have to turn them up here, whereas on a UFX2 and a UFX Plus you'll find these digital gain controls in Total Mix. So that's very similar to the Babyface Pro that I showed earlier. Now we're going to turn up the AM1 and 2 software playback channel, which is where the sound from Skype and Zoom is coming from. And we're going to click AM1 and 2 output, and we're just going to turn the microphone level up here as well. Now the final step for 802 and UFX users is to click on the wrench symbol for the AN1 and 2 output and activate the loopback button. Now with loopback activated, any audio routed to the AN1 and 2 output is sent back to the corresponding input via the onboard DSP of your interface. Now just bear in mind you won't see any signal on the input because the metering is still occupied by the physical input on your interface. Now with all this done, 802, UFX2 and UFX Plus users will be able to use any of the 4 mic inputs on their interface, and you can test this in the same way as we did earlier with the Babyface Pro on Zoom and Skype. That's it for part 1 of this mini-series on how to use your RME interface with Skype and Zoom. If you don't want to miss part 2, make sure that you like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks very much guys for watching. We'll see you again next time.